Talk about the Photoshop Workspace today before we even get started using it. You are not going to be making a file. You are going to just be watching this video, and then you're going to be labeling your workspace assignment just like mine. I will guarantee you'll know exactly where everything is that you need to know by the end of the video, so make sure that you watch it. Okay, there are 3 places you can open up Photoshop or any Adobe app. You can open it up from the cloud, which is at the top. You can open it up from the app, which is on the dock. And you can also go to your applications, double click on the Creative Cloud folder, and open it there. If you are looking at a white cloud, I would click on that white cloud and I would open it. If not, you're going to open it up in the other 2 places, depending on what you have on your computer. When you open this up, you're automatically taken to the apps that you have a subscription for. I have Photoshop and I have Illustrator and a couple other things. And I'm going to take a look. If this says update available, that means I need to click on it and I need to update it. You have to have the application or the program closed before you actually go through this process. So if Photoshop was to be opened while you're trying to update it, it won't let you do it. So make sure you've closed your program. You'll have to wait. As soon as you finish waiting, you'll have a button that says open, and it should say up to date. So anytime you have a little red dot next to your cloud up here, it's telling you most likely that you need to update something. And surprisingly, you do have to update them quite often, a lot more than you think, because things change, things improve. So just keep an eye on that, because it can also affect the speed and how efficient your program is running. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up. And again, you are not making a file. This is not what we're doing. We are simply just, you're just listening and looking to find what each of the parts are of the workspace. So this whole thing is considered a workspace. And there are different styles of workspaces depending on what project you're working on. You can also customize this too. So if you are in Photoshop and there's something that you use it for all the time, you can adjust your tools, your panels, all the stuff, and then you can create your own workspace. But we always use the Essentials workspace because it really is just the default to the program. And you know that you're on Essentials by going to the Window menu, going to Workspace, and then it will tell you what the name is that you are using. Sometimes you have a cluster of things that have ended up onto your workspace and you need to clean it up. If that is the case, you're going to come down here to reset and just click on it and it will put everything back. It's like a magical fairy just came in and reorganized everything back to where it was supposed to go. Okay, this is where you need to start labeling. Okay, off to the left hand side, all the way down, we call this the toolbar. These are all the tools that you can use in Photoshop. You, just like Illustrator, will notice that some of the tools have slide out menus. That's because there are multiple things put into that little folder. I am not going to make you memorize all the tools because we're going to use them at different times, and I can just emphasize them as we're doing a project or an assignment. But know that this is called the toolbar. Okay? When I click on a tool, you'll notice that the top bar of my workspace is changing. The reason why is because this is called the control panel. The control panel is the settings for each of the tools, and they are different depending on what tool you are using. Underneath your control panel, you have a tab. It's your document window. When it's highlighted like this, it shows that it's open, but there are times, and I'll demo for you right now, where you're going to have multiple tabs open at the same time. You can close them, you can move them in order of how you want to have them opened. If you click on them, it just shifts you to the next tab or the next document window. And I'm going to put this back, and I'm going to actually close that picture. So this is called the document window. All right, now off here to the side are all of your panels. These are all the panels. And some of this terminology is things that you've learned from first semester when we were talking about Illustrator, because it's the same format as Illustrator. It's just that the tools are different. Not all of them, but a lot of them are different. As I go through each of these, you'll notice that my panels are changing. I should say my properties panel is changing. So these panels will change, the properties panel will change according to what tool you're using. Okay, so the title of this section right here is called panels, and we're going to talk a lot about them because we're going to use many of them. The next thing you need to know is up here. This is your Workspace menu. It's where you choose a workspace. So you can choose which kind of workspace that you want. If you're doing 3D art, if you're doing motion graphics, if you're doing painting, photography, graphics, and web, you can change these. And I'm only going to change it just right now so that you can see what happens. The tools change. These are the tools that I would be using if I was digitally painting, and they're more accessible to me that way than me having to go to my panels and like hand open some of these things that I'd like just to have out all the time. But like I said, we're going to be working in Essentials, so I'm going to go back to my Essentials panel and stick with that. That is all I want you to know. So let's review. We have Toolbar, we have Control Bar, we have the Document window, we have Panels, and then we also have the Choose a Workspace menu off to the side. And as we go through more projects, you'll get to become more familiar with all of these, and everything will make a lot of sense. Now take all the words I just gave you, and I gave you a word bank of words. You're going to go into your assignment and you're going to hand type the names or place the names where they're supposed to go.